Trump says there will be a bloodbath if he's not reelected. Well, we didn't even need to wait for the election to know that there was. And it was in the media, and it's awful. And we're going to cover that today and more on Speechless. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Speechless. I'm your host, Kev Phares, 23-year-old conservative activist, soon-to-be law student, and radio host of Speechless, the radio show. But not everything I want to do and talk about fits into the radio-type platform, so I bring it to you right here onto YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, everything like that. Twitter, I see is blowing up right now, everybody. Make sure, no matter where you're watching from, to follow Speechless everywhere. Because you never know nowadays when one platform is just going to go kaput, goodbye, and kick me off of it, or if the entire platform, I mean, hey, even TikTok's going away, it seems like, from Congress. I know I missed that last week. And if you've been following my YouTube channel regularly, we're going to get into the bloodbath stuff and Joe Scarborough, and maybe I'll even let it slip. A little secret is we're going to answer the question once and for all if I'm a woman. Somebody posted about it today. So am I a woman? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? The dick and balls don't necessarily give it away anymore. But as I do have to address the elephant in the room. If you follow my YouTube and if you follow it closely, you might have noticed I didn't go live Saturday. I didn't go live Sunday. I was busy. And I know I should have let you guys know. And I'm sorry. But you're here now, so make sure you let everybody know. Please, please, please. Share the show. I'm going to keep, even if I'm busy on the weekends, I'm going to go live. I'm live right now. You guys should blow that comment section up and to make sure that you guys don't miss a minute of any of the times I'm live. Even if I get busy on the weekends, you guys should like this video wherever you're watching from. Like it right now. Hit that like button down there, because I'm going to talk about things the lamestream media won't want you to know about. And so if you like it and you subscribe, you follow me wherever you're watching from, follow the channel, follow the show, subscribe to it on YouTube, comment, blow that comment section up. I want to know exactly what you guys are talking about, please, and what you guys are thinking about the things that I'm saying. So please, please, please comment, and I'll include it. I'll shout you out on this show, which will end up, some of this will end up getting played on the radio. So you guys might actually be shouted out on the radio too. And then share this. That's the biggest thing. You got to share this with your friends, especially the liberal ones. We want to expose them to these ideas. So share it. If you're on Twitter right now, retweet it, please. I'd appreciate it. Retweet it, because we're going to get into some content soon. And I'm kind of starting off like this to ensure that everybody gets, because this is not one of my usual times that I go live. But I'm going live today at this time, and so I want to make sure I kind of preface you of, hey, let's get people here. Let's get people watching, and so go retweet it. Even if you're watching on YouTube right now, you watch on YouTube on your computer and go retweet it from your phone, right? Please do that. Kevin the Phares on Twitter, I believe. But let's start getting into some things here, and we're going to talk about, like I said, Trump used the word bloodbath. Everyone went nuts. Everyone went crazy. And it was a bloodbath in the media, but not in the way that you might expect. Let's talk about this. Less than a week after he surpassed the requisite threshold of delegates to secure the GOP presidential nomination, which I believe is like 1,250, Donald Trump is now facing another fake outrage onslaught from poor souls suffering from a bad case of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. And legacy media outlets in the Biden-Harris campaign blasted the former president, Donald Trump, who predicted a, quote, bloodbath if he does not win a second term in 2024. Now, that sounds like a threat of violence, in at least the way that it's phrased, right? You might be sitting at home right now. You might be sitting at home, like myself, wondering, how could he say this? Isn't it the left that threatens violence when they don't get their way? Like petulant children. They throw fits. They take over city streets. demand that the police be defunded. They throw paint on artwork, do 12-hour hunger strikes, and claim that they're martyrs. We saw how they reacted in 2020. When George Floyd overdosed on his own accord, they burned down cities. So how is it that Trump threatening the bloodbath, as the media would have you believe, how is it that he's the one doing that? He's the one that's claiming this will happen if he's not reelected. Well, the truth is, he didn't. He said the word bloodbath, but they don't care. The media doesn't care if you actually know the truth. No. However, I do. I do care that you know the truth. And so let's take a look at what Trump actually said. Let's start there. What did Trump actually say? Because if you're old enough to remember, as I am, then you might remember a certain Charlottesville rally in which Trump definitively said, the Nazis are bad. I do not support the Nazis, the Klan members, anything like that. But did say that on both sides of the statue debate, there were very fine people. However, the media would have you believe that he called Nazis very fine people. Okay. No, but let's take a look at what Trump actually, what did he actually say when he said bloodbath? Take a look and listen right here to this.
Mexico has taken, over a period of 30 years, 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it, went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico.
Oh, let's hear it.
Mexico has, but they're not going to sell them. It's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the cars. Us now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine.
Okay, so you hear what he's saying, right? Now, anybody with like half a brain cell and without an ulterior motive would understand that what Trump is saying right there is that if I am not elected, America's car manufacturing base, the jobs that we have, it's going to be a bloodbath. Because Joe Biden doesn't have a plan for this. Joe Biden isn't doing anything about this because Joe Biden is profiting off of China's success. Joe Biden wants China to be successful. Joe Biden kowtows to them like the spineless turtle that he is. Turtle without a shell, really. No. And so when Trump says this, it's actually a pretty common phrase, even when discussing the automobile industry. And we'll cover that. But the lamestream media would have you believe that this is the worst thing that he could possibly say. And not only do they do that, they ignore the entire context of him talking about the automobile industry and frame this as if it's some level of a threat to the American public, as if he's going to do January 6th, Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. And this time it's going to be like a Viva Revolution. When even the first time it was, I have to watch how I phrase this, but there is evidence to suggest that not everybody involved was a Trump supporter, and some may or may not have been related to the government. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But the media, as I said, went crazy when Trump said that there was a bloodbath. And so let's take a look. Let's just look at some of these headlines right here. Trump says there will be a bloodbath if he loses. In Ohio rally, Trump says there will be a bloodbath. Trump says there will be a bloodbath in elections. Blah, 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 blah. Go! I was about to say F yourself, but I need to censor in case I put this on the radio. So, these media nuts this is what's happening, is they are directly stealing the election already, or attempting to at least. And this is what I said about 2020 is you can go out and claim or look for fraudulent votes or anything like that. There very well may be some. Trump might be right. I haven't seen the evidence. I'm not going to admit to all that. There's some sketchy things I would question, but I'm digressing. No, what I do see though is a media that willingly and knowingly lies to the public. Lies to you, lies to me, and treats us as if we're dumb. As if we're idiots. They treat us as if I don't know if you guys are like me. If you're like me, you might be on a text list or two or email lists that they send you things and it's like, Donald Trump personally invites you to Mar-a-Lago for this big event for your award as like Donald Trump voter number one. Like, you'll get that thing. Like, the Democrats in the media treat us as if like we read that and we're like, oh my God, really? He wants me to go? No, we're not that stupid. You know who is? Anybody who still votes Democrats. They treat us as if we get a text or like a flyer, an automated text that's like, my opponent is full of lies. And like we read it and we're like, oh my God, really? My opponent is full. What are the lies? What are the lies? Tell me, what are the lies? No rational person reads an automated text and is like, yeah, that's the truth. That's exactly what I believe. But that's what the media is doing with this bloodbath story. That's exactly what they're doing. So, who else also is pushing this lie? Well, it's the current president. And this is all, like, I'm going to recap all this. Like, stick with me when it comes to this because this is just a fascinating story. It's not just the media, it's also the entire Biden-Harris campaign. Take a look at this statement that they put out on Twitter and other social media platforms earlier after Saturday, I believe it was yesterday. Tonight, Donald Trump said there would be a bloodbath if he wasn't elected, and that if he lost, there would be no more elections. There's no quotes there for that one. Interesting. After opening the general election by meeting with authoritarian leaders and rallying alongside conspiracy theorists, Donald Trump continues to praise dictators, promises to pardon political violence, and launch racist attacks against Black and brown Americans. When does he ever claim any of that? Nowhere. He promises to launch racist attacks against Black and brown Americans? I would like anywhere for you to be able to tell me, like, a quote in which Donald Trump anywhere says something like, I would like to commit racist attacks against Black and brown Americans. He wouldn't. He didn't. And he never would. But you want to know what the leftist media does and what the Biden-Harris campaign does? If I was running for president right now, what the leftist media and what Joe Biden would do is he would literally go back 30 seconds of this video and you would hear me say, right now, you would hear me say the racist attacks against Black and brown Americans. They would take that small clip and they would be like, look what he said, look what he said, look what he said. Because here's what they do is, here is like the whole, let's get me, this is right here. Here is the whole picture, right here. Here's the whole picture, however you want to frame it. And they zoom in till it's about that. That's what the leftist media does. Why? Because it fits their narrative. It fits their narrative. People have done this to me, and we're going to talk. I actually have a video of this. If you guys stick with me, you guys are getting ahead of it. I have a video of this happening to me that got posted today. Today, this got posted. We're going to talk about it later. But again, this is what the Biden-Harris campaign is doing, is they're perpetuating this absolute lie. Let's keep going through more of their statement here. It's why last night, Trump's own former Vice President Mike Pence, who Trump supporters called to hang for not overturning the election, came out against Trump. Okay, also, technically, Mike Pence just said he wouldn't endorse Trump, to be clear. And why would he? Why would he? Trump obviously wanted Pence to not certify the results of the election, and Pence didn't do that. They're not on good terms, period. He wouldn't. But the other thing, too, is there's also an attempt in this to try to assert that someone who supports Donald Trump is automatically reflective of Trump himself. That's not necessarily true. If the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, rest his soul, was a supporter of Joe Biden, would that make it? Would that be reflective of who Joe Biden is? Maybe, but not necessarily. Donald Trump himself never called for Mike Pence to be hung. And so to put that on him when he never called for that, and in fact even said, please protest peacefully, is once again mischaracterizing the man and his messaging. And the problem with this is that not only are they implicating this, if you look at the next sentence, they basically say, this is who Donald Trump is. A loser who gets beat by over 7 million votes. Real votes? And then instead of appealing to a wider mainstream audience, doubles down on his threats of political violence. Once again, nowhere in here did he claim for any level of violence. He wants another January 6th. Where did he say that? Where did he say that? But the American people are going to give him another electoral defeat this November because they continue to reject this extremism, his affection for violence, and his thirst for revenge. He definitely wants revenge. That's probably the only true statement in any of this, is he wants revenge. And the thing is that a lot of his supporters, a lot of them, like him because of that. Because they too want revenge on a presidency that is emblematic of everything wrong with America right now. Embracing wokeism, embracing race over status of individual or the character of somebody, embracing identity over character, and embracing feelings over facts. A lot of people want revenge. It's not just Trump. It's not just Trump. And when it comes to this story, when it comes to the idea that, oh man, everybody's getting crazed about this him using the term bloodbath. It's not real. It's not genuine. This outrage is not real. I said earlier, I described it as fake outrage. Now, fake outrage is something you see a lot of times in politics. I see it from lefties too, and I've pointed it out on my show. But you really see it a lot. And there's a certain individual. There's been a few different instances of fake outrage. Here's one. So you have this guy, Joe Scarborough, who's like trending on Twitter right now for this rant in which he actually broke FCC rules. But Joe Scarborough had a meltdown. He's an MSDNC reporter who had a meltdown live on air after getting called out on Twitter, X, for the Bloodbath hoax. And he tries convincing his audience that he's not stupid. So Joe Scarborough went to Twitter, and he called out this bloodbath thing like every other mainstream zombie brain dead idiot did. They went out and they were like, Trump said bloodbath, Trump said bloodbath, da, da, da. Sounding like idiots, stupid people, pea-brained individuals. And he went on Twitter and he did that. And then all these people were like, you are an imbecile, as they should. They took to their phones like geniuses and said, Joe Scarborough, they all simultaneously, they all woke up. They saw Joe Scarborough being an idiot and they told him, which is something that's lost among this generation that I live in. is we no longer tell somebody when they look, act, sound, or say things that make them look, act, and sound like an idiot. But this happened to Joe, and he deleted the tweet. Then he proceeds to go onto MSDNC and make these statements. Take a look and listen.
He's talking about a bloodbath for America. It's laid out in the terms of it. And these idiots on Twitter, these idiots on cable news, these idiots on Sunday shows going, well, yeah, well, presidents, you know, he was talking only about the auto industry, and this is one more. It's just bullshit. Let me say that at 6:15 a.m. It's just bullshit. He knew what he was doing. We're not stupid. Americans aren't stupid. He was talking about a bloodbath. Sometimes a bloodbath means a bloodbath. And when he finishes by saying, and that's just going to be the least of it, seriously, these people may be stupid. We're not. He's talking.
I will agree with him on one point. And that point is that Americans aren't stupid. That's why they called you out, Joe, is because the idiot is you, Mr. Scarborough. It's you. You are the idiot, Mr. Scarborough. So, why does the media do this? Do they think they must think that we're idiots, right? They must. Because even another way that I know that this was fake outrage is, I also want to point out real quick too, that Joe Scarborough made an FCC violation right there. He's going to get, the MSDNC is going to get charged minimum like $100,000 for probably $200,000 for using the word shit. According to the FCC, I know I've studied this because I'm not allowed to use it on radio. The FCC says broadcasting obscene content, such as the word shit, is prohibited by law at all times of the day. Indecent and profane content, such as the word shit, are prohibited on broadcast TV and radio between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. when there is a reasonable risk that children may be in the audience. He even calls out in this video, which I think is very funny, like the time of day.
It's laid out in the terms of it. And these idiots on Twitter, these idiots on cable news, these idiots on Sunday shows going, well, yeah, well, presidents, you know, he was talking only about the auto industry, and this is one more. It's just bullshit. Let me say that at 6:15 a.m. It's just bullshit.
When he says that, when he says, I'm as somebody who has been in radio for several years, I could tell you likely that when he says, I will tell you that at 6:15, it was because he realized he said shit. And he was like, I got to check the time. Am I allowed to say it at this time? And then he did. And then immediately after the show was over, he got reamed out by his boss for the hundreds of thousands of dollars that he's now going to have to pay to the FCC for violating that rule, which I think is hilarious. But once again, I digress a little bit, and I want to get back to the fact that this is fake outrage. How do we know that this is fake outrage? Well, because he's not even really mad, and he's kind of clear. He's not even really mad about the bloodbath thing. He's more so mad that he's getting called out for his inability to comprehend context on Twitter. But it's not only that proves fake outrage. You could make the argument, well, maybe he really is just mad that he really is just mad that Trump said bloodbath, and he is just a pea-brained loser idiot that can't actually understand context. But part of me doesn't believe that to be true, because I have a video right here, 2 minutes straight of leftists using the term bloodbath, and I guess they're all threatening political violence. Take a look and a listen, starting out with America's favorite lesbian, Rachel Maddow.
But as Politico.com reports tonight on the, quote, bloodbath at the RNC, Headlines calling it a, quote, bloodbath. Be a bloodbath. Not only is it going to be a bloodbath, but after they leave New Hampshire, it's a bloodbath on her home turf. That's really tough. Trump has left a lot of corpses in his wake. I mean, we can count the bodies as part of the, quote, MAGA drive to take over Maricopa County. And the headline refers to it as an impending bloodbath. Columnist Charles Blow has a new piece for the New York Times entitled A Biden Bloodbath.
2018 midterms, you can bet that they 100% are fearing a slaughter. In fact, the word bloodbath and massacre come up frequently.
The Republican Party will be destroyed. It's going to be a bloodbath.
There's going to be a bloodbath one way or the other.
Bloodbath for Bernie Sanders. It's been a bloodbath. They're shaping up to be a bloodbath.
Head off a bloodbath in next year's crucial midterm.
Off-year elections are often a bloodbath.
This week's bloodbath for Democrats.
A bloodbath at the ballot box.
There could be a Republican bloodbath.
They'll talk about a bloodbath.
It's a bloodbath. I have to talk about you. And
It's going to be a bloodbath all day long.
Is in for a bloodbath.
Hasn't been a bloodbath on the way down.
Donald Trump bloodbath. Be a bloodbath.
Predicted to be a bloodbath. May not be the bloodbath.
It would be a bloodbath.
More of a bloodbath.
It's going to be a bloodbath in November.
Possible Biden bloodbath this November.
A bloodbath on Wall Street.
There's going to be a bloodbath
In Alabama into a bloodbath.
Obviously, there was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath. We're down 800 points.
This bloodbath at Department of Homeland Security.
And it's a bloodbath today.
There was going to be this bloodbath.
Election bloodbath.
It could be a bloodbath for them. Bloodbath, possibly.
bloodbath that went through with the Attorney General.
Bloodbath 99 days out.
The bloodbath is going to look like
Presided over a bloodbath in the diplomatic corps.
Absolute, in my opinion, bloodbath. The Democrats are
Calling it ticket sales turned into a bloodbath. Ticket sales for singer Taylor Swift's latest tour.
It's safe to say the fans had a bloodbath for the company after the fiasco.
So, as you can see, the term bloodbath is used consistently by the mainstream media to describe things that are not political violence, such as election results. They use it to describe Taylor Swift ticket sales or stock prices. It's consistently used in a metaphoric or a non-literal sense. However, when Donald Trump uses it, it's a different story because it fits the narrative. Also, sorry, I just got word. I need to apologize. Rachel Maddow actually came in second for America's Favorite Lesbian. Ellen DeGeneres won. Ellen DeGeneres won America's Favorite Lesbian, at least from my most recent polling data. Which is never and in my head. So, my apologies to Ellen DeGeneres for claiming that Rachel Maddow was America's Favorite Lesbian. But the point of all of this, the point of the bloodbath story, the fake outrage and all of it, the message of this story is twofold. The first is pretty obvious. The media doesn't really care about you. Now, I know that might sound obvious and sound like something that I've talked about on this show before several times, but it's true. The media doesn't care about you. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about facts. The news, as we so call it, doesn't even care about the news, or at least reporting it how it actually happens. What they care about is a narrative. They care about a story, which is different than the news. They can be the same, but in this case, they're different. They care about telling you a story like that you hear at bedtime. One that elicits a certain emotion. Not because it's actually what happens, but because it'll push you to think emotionally. Emotions push people to act irrationally. And so, being that it's just about the primary election for a significant number of states, tomorrow is the primary, at least in my home state of Illinois and tons of others, it is a time in which people ought to act irrationally in the media's eyes and in the eyes of the Democratic Party. Because they want to push the Democrats' agenda, because ultimately that's whose money is in the pockets of the media. They don't want you to be informed, or at least not informed of the truth. No, they want you to believe that Trump said he wants to cause a bloodbath. That he wants to cause a bloodbath. Because if you believe that, then you'll be scared, frightened, into voting for the alternative. So they'll take any quote out of context to push that narrative in a time where it's necessary. The second fold that I'm discussing is the blatant hypocrisy and gaslighting that comes from the media, Joe Biden, and the Democratic Party. It's important to notice that if you are currently a Democrat and a blue-haired, septum-piercing, CRT, Black Lives Matter ally, you need to understand you're in an abusive relationship. You're in an abusive relationship with the Democratic Party. It's sycophantic, frankly. And if you enjoy it, if you believe that you like voting Democrat and you like how the country is currently going, then you're of the sickest of masochists. You derive pleasure from being whipped and told that you're a piece of crap, that everybody's a piece of crap, and that you're happy being a piece of crap. How can I say that? How can I say it? Because look at the world right now. Look at what the Democrats do. They literally stand here and lie to you. And Democrats, you eat it up. You eat it up as if it's like the best food that like your wife just made for you and you got home from not eating all day. You eat it up. And it's frankly disgusting to watch. Anybody who looks at Trump using the term bloodbath in that instance, it doesn't see like I need a Democrat. I need Democrats out there to tell me that they're to believe that there's even any sanity left in the Democratic Party. I need some Democrat, somebody who is like a proud like JFK level Democrat or something to come out and tell me and sit there and say, yeah, Joe Biden's wrong in that instance. For me to have any belief that there's any sanity left. I can't. I simply can't. The point of this, though, is that the bloodbath that really happened is Trump's reaction to all of this. Not only did he call out their blatant hypocrisy and gaslighting, he also came out with this new kind of ad-ish, social media ad at least, in which he calls out Biden's border bloodbath. Oh, we're just getting started here. Take a look and a listen.
We've got another tragic story connected to the border crisis. Travis Wolf was just one day away from celebrating his 12th birthday when a woman who was in the United States illegally from Venezuela crashed head-on into his family's Jeep.
Church teacher accused of abusing several children in Montgomery County, Maryland. Tonight, immigration officials tell us he was never supposed to be in the United States in the first place, and he had already been deported twice.
Palm Beach County deputies arrested 3 undocumented immigrants in Lake Worth Beach on sexual battery charges. According to the arrest affidavit, the 3 suspects, all from Guatemala, abducted a local woman along the street and threw her inside a truck. Authorities say the men drove off and stopped at a nearby intersection where they sexually assaulted her and filmed it.
The leader of a Colombian street gang, Los Antañas, has been arrested in Texas, where he was seeking asylum. Colombian authorities confirmed that he was one of the 7 most wanted murderers in Colombia's capital.
A woman accused in Mexico of several murders and body dismemberments, even removing victims' hearts, is arrested in El Paso. The FBI says Pineda was known for extreme brutality, dismembering bodies, removing hearts, and placing the hearts in front of Santa Muerte statues.
Biden's border bloodbath. The perfect response from the Trump campaign as they are being hit with an onslaught of lies from the media and the Biden camp about his statements. And it's just the best move politically for Trump when he can't win to them. There's no way that he can win. He knows he can't win to them in that narrative. And so revert it back to the truth. I'm a firm believer if enough people are out there telling the truth, it will get heard and it will prevail. But it doesn't get heard by just sitting and hoping somebody says it. No, we can all do our part. And so that's why voting for truth tellers, not only in an election, but also digitally, like you're doing right now by supporting me. If you believe that what I'd say is the truth, which I know it is, but you can believe what you want to believe, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, like it wherever you are, follow wherever you're watching from, share it. If you're on Twitter, repost it. No matter where you are, subscribe to my channel, especially on YouTube. Comment. Keep that comment section coming because that's what I'm about to go to. And let me know what you think. What do you think? Do we have a bloodbath? Was Trump actually threatening violence? Maybe. Maybe I'm an idiot. I could be. I also could be a woman. We're going to answer that question soon. Let's get to the comments here from some people as I was talking. The media always uses the same terms and then cry wolf when anyone on the right says it. Absolutely. Rachel's breath smells like turds 100%. Maybe. Women cause bloodbath. Okay, we're not talking about that one. Ryan Mack, that was gross. And also transphobic. Racist Don is killing everyone if he loses. WAPO headline. Yes. Okay. I even see I have one person. I don't know what this means, but one person on Twitch that's watching. Don't forget to comment wherever you guys are watching from. I'd appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think. I have more stories to cover here that I got to get set up. This is what happens when I produce my own show. If you guys want to support it, don't forget to potentially, if you have the means, I'm not going to beg, but maybe support the show through Venmo, Cash App, anything like that. We're coming up on 1 year of me streaming Speechless live on YouTube. And I'm very, very happy about that. So definitely let me know. Let me know what you're thinking about the show and support it if you can so we can keep growing and keep getting better because the best is yet to come. Our favorite guy said that. You guys know that? The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. It's going to be a bloodbath. Everybody, just so you know, one day, Speechless with Kev, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. For all other podcasts, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath. You know it. I know it. We all know it. You're going to see it. It's going to be a bloodbath. Oh my God, they're going to cancel me. I'm going to get canceled. Okay, I got this next story. You guys hear about Planet Fitness? Went crazy on Twitter today. Planet Fitness has a tweet that is going, or stuff about it that's going absolutely viral because a woman claims that she is getting kicked out and banned from Planet Fitness for trying to expose and ask them to not allow biological men into their bathroom. Happy International Women's Month, everybody. Here is that video of a real woman standing up against a biological man. Here we go.
Good day. I just wanted to say I just came out of Planet Fitness, and there is a man shaving in a women's bathroom. I realize he wants to be a woman. He gets to be a woman. I love him in Christ. He's a spiritual being having a human experience. He doesn't like his gender, so he wants to be a woman. But I'm not comfortable with him shaving in my bathroom. All right. I just thought I'd say it out loud. Good day. I just want.
So that's not the only video either of this woman. Eventually, she also is able to speak up and say that she was getting kicked out of Planet Fitness because of all this. But if you want to see the picture of this biological man that was changing in the ladies' restroom, let's take a look. I can get it for us right here. This is the biological man that was in the women's restroom. Not even like, here's the thing is I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, if he was passing, it would be okay. If he actually looked like a woman, no, it would not be okay. But maybe it would be a little harder for somebody to call you out on it if you actually pretended to look more like a woman. I don't know. Maybe. Is there a chance? And here's a follow-up video of this woman describing what happens after she took this to Planet Fitness. Here's what happened.
Good morning at 8 degrees below zero in Fairbanks, Alaska. Day 2 of Planet Fitness saga. I came in Monday. There's a man in the women's locker room shaving. A little girl sitting in the corner. She could have been 12 years old. I don't know how old she was. In a towel, kind of freaked out that there's a man shaving in her locker room. Well, I was offended. I took a picture of him and I asked him, why are you there? You're a man with a penis. Why are you in the women's locker room? And he justified by saying, I'm queer LGB. And I said, you shouldn't be in the women's locker room. Well, I left. And as I said this morning, I got canceled. Planet Fitness is defending the man in the women's locker room, the man with the penis, rather than the child sitting in the corner with a towel wrapped around her. So people, I just want you to know, this is weird. It's not good. It's rather disturbing. So I would like for you women to stand up and have a voice and stop the shenanigans. You have authority. Use your authority. I took that picture because I felt like I was in an unsafe space. And so I'm probably going to go report this to the police today, but I just want to tell Samantha and Joe that work there and own it, thank you so much for canceling my membership. You saved me the trip. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
What a badass. What a badass this woman is. I love it. I'm starting this. I want to help her start the movement. I'm not going to claim I'm starting it because she's starting. Stop the shenanigans. I love it. Put it on a t-shirt. Stop the shenanigans. You're a man with a penis. It's like that clip from that movie Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like the little boy stands up and he goes, boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. It's simple. Even the kindergartner got it. And so this woman, which I guarantee you people on the left are gonna call a Karen and try to shame her and cancel her. We got to tell them. Stop the shenanigans. Stop them. Stop the shenanigans. This woman is a genius. I love her because she didn't wake up. She didn't wake up that morning and say, this is how a lot of people are. This is how you know. I want to give this as a hopeful message. Okay. Yes, it is bad that there's a biological man in the women's restroom, in the women's locker room, in some way, potentially exposing himself to children. That's bad. Period. Full stop. But why is there a shimmer of hope in this story? It's because we have this lady who comes up and she wakes up in the morning and just says, I'm going to go for a workout and be healthy. She's obviously an older woman as well, oldish. Can't tell exactly the age, but older. She didn't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to fight against the trans agenda. I'm going to be an activist today. No. This is an average woman going about an average day who saw bad things happening and stood up against it and has now created a media firestorm against Planet Fitness. Cancel Planet Fitness. If you have a membership to Planet Fitness, it's not that hard to cancel it. You're probably not using it anyways, everybody. It's March. You know that reoccurring thing on your debit card that you keep getting and it's Planet Fitness charging you that you started back in January? I know the weather's getting nicer, so you don't even need it. You could go outside and walk and stop giving these stupid liberals your money. The stupid liberals that want to allow your children to be exposed to fully grown adult men who pretend to be women. You can stop giving them your money today, and it wouldn't really have a greater effect on you. And that's why I love this woman. Not all heroes wear capes. This woman's a hero, and this woman had no intention of being an activist, and she started a movement. Because, like that quote goes, and I don't remember exactly how it's said, so I'm paraphrasing it, but bad things happen when good people don't stand up and say something. And that's all she did. She made a quick video, posted it online, and it turned into something. She wasn't even an activist. Good for her. Good for her. Real women standing up for real women. I always appreciate it, and I will always stand up for it. I love it. I have a few more stories here, and we're going to kind of circle back to that one. But I did find this one interesting. Before I do that, I'm going to check to see if there's any more comments. Nope. Keep the comment section coming, everybody. God bless you. Keep talking. Let me know what you're thinking. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I want to know what you're thinking because I have some fun stories coming up, and I think that it'd be very interesting to see what you guys think about these. And so we'll bring it. We'll bring it all here for you guys. But I want to talk about this. You guys know that game Cards Against Humanity? It was trending earlier on Twitter today. Some people are getting very, very upset because there's something they had no idea about this game. You guys know this game. It's like Apples to Apples. You guys ever play Apples to Apples? If you've never heard of Cards Against Humanity, here's essentially how it works. You have all these different cards. You have a main one. It'll be a prompt. And then all of the other players have like 7 potential answers to that prompt. And they're usually relatively raunchy. And you put them all in. And then one person votes on what they think is the funniest answer to that prompt. If you want to know some of the examples, go look it up on your own. But here is at least one. There's somebody on Twitter, Sock Dem, got very, very upset that apparently this game is offensive. The game called Cards Against Humanity is offensive. Seriously, take a look at this tweet right here. I'm going to pull it up on screen. Sock Dem has this to say. Cards Against Humanity is offensive. He actually says, I can no longer endorse Cards Against Humanity with the knowledge that it's offensive, culturally insensitive, and generally misanthropic. When the card here from the game is demolishing that ass like a Palestinian village. Demolishing that ass like a Palestinian village. So you're telling me, you're sitting here and telling me, first off, who gave you the authority? Who gives a shit if you endorse a card game? Who asked? Who cares? I can no longer endorse Cards Against Humanity. No one cares. You like testosterone lacking individual. Greatly deficient in testosterone. Sock Dem. With the knowledge that it's offensive. No shit. It's literally called Cards Against Humanity. What did you think it was going to be? Cards against anti-humanity. And so then you say misanthropic, which essentially means anti-human or against the general idea of society, of humanity. Yeah. Definitively, it is that, you idiot. People even started coming after this guy, getting word that Cards Against Humanity is actually deliberately provocative party game. See? It's exactly what it is. This is insane. People started coming after him in the comment section too. People are calling him out because it's like, yeah, no crap. This game is provocative on purpose. So I just thought this was a funny story. I thought it was worth bringing up. What do you guys think? You guys play Cards Against Humanity? Anybody in the comment section? I need that card. If it's red and tastes like blue paint, it's red paint. This is an edgy party game. If you don't like it, this is another thing too. I'll even tell this story a little bit. I have people. So when it comes to my radio show, right? I do a lot more of my content on YouTube and digitally, but I still have a radio show and I put some of my content on there. I have people that listen to my radio show And I forgot to change my radio show, like to re-upload a different one for this week. And so it played an old one that I'd already played on the radio this last Sunday, just yesterday. And I have people that are texting into that radio show fuming. So angry. So angry that I could get mad about some of the things that I do. When they don't realize that they have every level of agency to quickly turn the channel if they don't like what they hear. Or to simply sit back and call me irrelevant in their head. Because to an extent, look, here's something, you could quote me on this. And this is what I say. This is what I say to everybody out there. If there's an influencer, if there's just somebody that you don't like that says things that hurt your feelings or anything, that person is only as relevant as you allow them to be. The person that lives in your head rent-free is only as relevant as you allow them to be. And so if you're that person from the town I went to college in, and you are texting in at 309-451-9299, which you can still text into today, 309-451-9299, I'd still be able to see it on my phone. It would hype up. And you are seeing that, and you're texting in that you hate me and that I'm a stupid idiot. And you just think I'm terrible. I am only as relevant as you allow me to be. This is truth. I am not that relevant if you deem I'm not. It's true. That's how media, that's how social media works. I am only as relevant as you allow me to be. And so if you dislike me, turn the channel. Stop watching the video. Leave me a comment. Tell me how much you hate me. Frankly, I don't give a shit. I don't. I have other stories to cover here. Speaking of people that are obsessed with me. Am I secretly a woman? Am I? Am I secretly a woman? Recently, there was a video that was posted to a guy. I did a kind of a sit down with him a few months ago. His name is Zach. He has Zach's Strange Corners of Thought is his YouTube. You guys can go check him out if you want. He's a lefty, very, very into philosophy. I believe he might be a member of the LGBTQ community. We've had like relatively kind enough interactions. And so, you know how earlier we talked about how Trump had this word bloodbath that he used, and it got wildly taken out of context because they took very small snippets and said, this is what he said. And they do that a lot with Trump's speeches. Well, this is essentially what happened to me in this instance. And I think it was used for comedic effect. I just don't know how funny I actually think it is. But I'll play it. I do this all the time. If somebody posts like a hate video or something that is meant to like be disliking me, I'll do it because I usually find a way to get a kick out of it and actually correct the record. So here is my reaction to a TikTok of somebody claiming that I actually might believe that I'm a woman. Am I a woman? You can actually, because we'll see this. Is conservative propagandist? I'm a propagandist. I just say my thoughts, man. Like if I was a propagandist, then I would like deliberately not believe or just be only pushing an agenda for the purpose of like trying to like brainwash people. I'm not. You can disagree with me. Disagree with me in the comments. Let's have the argument. Let's have the conversation. But is conservative propagandist me secretly a woman? Let's take a look at this bucket hat wearing individual. Am I secretly a woman? Who knows?
Is conservative political propagandist Kevin Phares secretly a woman?
My sisters have called me Kavina and the sister they always wanted. You have my full permission to call me a she. I've identified it as a woman when it's convenient.
Healthcare, women's rights for healthcare. And hey, you're a man, so I don't think any man has any right.
I actually identify as a woman. I identify as a woman.
No, no, he's not. I mean, if you identified as a woman to me, I probably wouldn't believe you, because you don't appear to have any secondary female sex characteristics. You don't appear to be, feminine in any way. You don't go by feminine linguistics. And also, I've heard the words that come out of your mouth.
Do trans people actually exist? He is in a state of delusion to be significantly mentally ill. That is called psychosis. I identify as a woman.
I don't believe that.
Well, that's perfectly fine. You're just a transphobe. You are. If you don't believe that I'm a woman when I say I'm a woman, then you're a transphobe. No, but I could actually, like I said earlier, though, these are clips of me that are getting taken out of context perfectly, and it's kind of hilarious. So, first one. My sisters have called me Kavina and the sister they always wanted. Yeah, my sisters did do that. Doesn't necessarily mean that specific clip wasn't anything necessarily about me believing I'm a woman. You have my full permission to call me a she. You do. And that one, I say that all the time. You do have your my full permission to call me a she if you want to. You want to know why? Because that's in terms of what we discuss when we're talking about people getting mad that you're misgendering them. You can call me a she. I do not care. I do not care. Call me whatever the heck you want to. But if you believe that a man can become a woman and a woman can become a man, then don't call me at all. I am done hearing from you. Call me a she. I don't care. I've identified as a woman when it's convenient. I do identify as a woman when it's convenient, because what do I mean by that? I say that a lot. I talk to a lot of people. I say I can identify as a woman when it's convenient. Then he actually brings up the clip right here of a time I do that.
Healthcare, women's rights for healthcare. And hey, you're a man, so I don't think any man has any right.
She assumed my gender. She assumed it. I actually identify as a woman. I identify as a woman.
No.
I do. I do when it's convenient. And so what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is I'm going to identify as a woman when it's convenient, because that's the way that it works. Because if you look at the leftist ideology, if you say you are a woman, you can very well be a woman. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. I'm Kavina. I'm a woman. If I want to be, right? Because that's the way it works. There's this man who goes into Planet Fitness and looks like a man, isn't even trying to embody any kind of female characteristics that, as Zach would claim, that's what makes somebody a woman, which it's not the way it is. But as he would claim, you could just be a woman whenever you want. I could just claim it. It's not something that you actually have to be born into or even earn or anything like that. No. It's simply that I could just be it. And so when it's convenient for me, like, heck, if there's women's only scholarships, maybe I'll consider applying. Maybe I'll consider doing that, because then I could get some level of scholarship for being a woman. I will do it when it's convenient. Why not? Why not? So I think that's hilarious. And the thing is, though, is we talk about this, and I'll make my jokes that I can just become a woman if I want to, but there's people that genuinely actually believe that, and that's why I kind of poke fun on it. Like I said earlier, society has lost the ability to point out when somebody does, acts, speaks, thinks something stupid. We need to call it out, because a lack of calling it out causes a certain level of a psychosis. And so we have things like this, like from the Daily Wire, in which nearly 30%, seriously, you want to talk about what a what do they call it? A societal brainwashing is, or there's another term for it, and I'm blanking on it right now, and I'm sorry, but there's a term for when you make the entirety of society or an entire swath of society believe something that is not social conditioning kind of thing, I guess. Take a look at this. So nearly 30% of Gen Z women identify as LGBT, according to a Gallup poll. More than 1 in 5 Gen Z adults now identify as LGBT, new data shows, and nearly 30% of Gen Z women. About 22% of those who are aged 18 to 26 last year self-identify as LGBT. according to a poll released Wednesday by Gallup. This is higher than the nearly 1 in 10 millennials, those aged 27 to 42, who identify as Legibitica, and even higher than 5% of Gen X, 2% of baby boomers, and 1% of the silent generation. It is drastically increased. Generation X, only 5%. Even 1 in 10 millennials, so 10% of millennials believe that they're Legibitica. It is drastically increased. It exponentially. Exponentially, we are consistently seeing a massive increase in people identifying as Legibitica. And the left would have you complain that they were all there to begin with. They were just closeted. However, I wouldn't necessarily agree. Why? Because if you look back, at one point, we were actually rising in population. And I'm not going to claim that the only reason that we're decreasing in population is because we have more gay people. But I would say, biologically, it would be part of the problem. The reason why you would not be increasing in birth rate is because more people are engaging in sexual acts or sexual surgeries and hormone therapies that cannot lead to fertility and birth. Maybe that's part of the reason that we're declining in birth rates. My point being is, meanwhile, the general population of adults who identify as Legibitica hit 7.6% last year, an all-time high, while 85.6% say they are straight or heterosexual. Back in 2012, the percentage of those who identified as Legibitica sat at just 3.5%. The increase is driven in part by Gen Z women, almost 30% of whom identify as Legibitica. Mostly bisexual, according to Jeffrey Jones, a senior editor at Gallup. That's where a lot of growth seems to be happening. A large chunk of millennial women, 9%, also identify as bisexual. And I think that's a really funny one, because bisexual is the weirdest one out of all of those to me. You know, if you're gay, you're like, yep, that's what I'm into. If you're lesbian, you're like, that's what I'm into. If you're bisexual, look, there's the common joke that a lot of college women are just experimenting or something like that. And here's what I really think it is. I don't actually think, because to be bisexual, you don't actually have to commit to anything. This is why it makes me a little mad. Now, I'm a believer in God. Being gay is a sin. It's my belief. However, the bisexual one really pisses me off because it's just something you can claim out of nowhere. Similar to being a woman nowadays. I can just claim that out of nowhere. I don't actually have to commit to anything. If you're gay, you got to be a man who is with men. You're committing to that's what I'm into. If you're lesbian, I'm a woman who's into women. That's what I'm committing to. Being bisexual is a way that you can claim this victim status. And here is why I know that it's a social contagion. Is because we are told that the Legibiticas are so oppressed. That they're just so oppressed because they're not fully accepted in every swath of society. Because people like me exist, so you're a victim. Because I believe that being gay is a sin and is not a way to a virtuous life. So you must be oppressed. And so if you want to be a part of an oppressed group, if you want to be a victim, if you want to be part of the victim cult that the left cultivates, that was wordplay, in fact, then you have to claim a victim status. And if you really want to be a victim, you can't just be an ally. That's like having being half in, half out. You can't totally do that. That's just being an ally. So what's a way that you can claim a victim status, but not actually have to do anything or be in any way oppressed? Well, or at least be any way actually oppressed. You don't actually have to change who you are by any means. Well, it's to claim you're bisexual. Because that one time that you saw Hillary wearing that super cute top, you thought, oh my God, maybe. That's the way they treat this. That's the way this is treated is, oh my God, maybe like I could be. And so then you claim it so you can be a part of this so that you can be part of this victim cult and get all of your victim benefits. Your victim benefits being able to be fake outraged every time the evil straight white man like me quotes Leviticus 18:22. A man shall not lay with a man if he does, it's an abomination. So why is this growing exponentially that nearly 30% of Gen Z women are identifying as lesbianica? It's because we are telling them that they should. They're not actually, but they're identifying it so that they can get their victim points. And then you have others who are being, and the thing is, it's only going to rise because right now, it's people just like, okay, I can be bisexual. No. But then we also have a generation who's seeing this rapid uptick, and they are going to actually believe. I don't think that all these women actually believe that they're lesbianica. What I do believe is that they want to feel included in something. And so they'll still only be with men and sleep with men and be attracted to men. But because they think Sally had that cute top on one day, they'll keep the 1% bisexual that they claim to have. But then you have an entire generation that's younger, that's growing up in this, and they're looking at it and saying, wow, so many of the people I look up to are lesbianica. So I must also be lesbianica. And if you're just tuning in and you've never watched this show before, when I say lesbianica, it's how you pronounce LGBTQ. Lesbianica. That's how you pronounce that. But also, yes, my womanly accent makes me a woman. I wonder if that constitutes in the statistic. I'm a young man who pretends to be a woman. I'm also a lesbian, actually. So when I am a woman, I am a lesbian. I'm still attracted to women. So that's the way it works. If you just claim it, that's the way it works. That's the way it works. But one person that is definitely involved in this surgery or survey, not surgery, maybe some surgeries, I don't know, coming soon if they haven't already, is a person I haven't really checked up on in a while. And so I don't know if you guys are like me, but you wonder when somebody makes such a profound impact on your life in some way, whether that's massive amounts of hilarity or maybe destroying your favorite beer brand forever because it makes you gay if you drink it. You might wonder, where are they now? And so for this edition of Speechless Reactions, we're going to do Dylan Mulvaney. Where are they now? Well, where is Dylan Mulvaney now? There's a lot of things that Dylan Mulvaney is trying out. Dylan Mulvaney is trying to figure out his next career move. Now, Dylan Mulvaney, to his first big career move that got him into the stardom, obviously we know, is pretending to be a woman. He was a second-rate actor doing like off-Broadway productions as an understudy. And then COVID hit and he was out of work and even as a starving artist. So the gay man, Dylan, decided, hey, what if I acted all the time and pretended to be a woman and got TikTok famous that way? That's exactly what he did. Well, Dylan Mulvaney took to a stage recently. I believe this was back in January. Dylan Mulvaney attempted stand-up. And so for the first reaction for Dylan Mulvaney, we're going to react to his attempt at stand-up comedy and see just what we think, see how long it takes for me to laugh. And here's the thing, is maybe it actually will be funny because Dylan is a man. And as we know, men can be funny. Here we go.
Time? Okay, good. I'm about to do my first stand-up comedy set in 2 years, and I'm a little nervous. I don't think that most of you know that I did stand-up before TikTok, but I was driving around LA trying to get 5 minutes places. And then when I popped off on TikTok, I was like, oh, I can tell the same joke to 1,000,000 people instead of 20 people. But I just really miss the human connection. And there's nothing that makes me happier than making people laugh. And I used to tell a lot of my jokes on here, but now since so much of my content gets used against me by extremist media,
I'm the extremist media, apparently. Me. Oh, I'm extremist, apparently.
I'm just a lot more cautious when it comes to comedy on here. So I think it will feel really good to get up there and know that I can be 100% myself and like do what I want to do. But the good news is that the past 2 years have given me a lot of material. And we're in Salt Lake City, so I'm going to do some stuff around my Book of Mormon show that I was in. I've got some beard jokes, a little bit of everything. And I think everyone should try stand-up at least once in their life because there is nothing scarier. And afterwards, you feel like you can literally do anything.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I haven't watched this yet. This is a blind live reaction. And this is a long intro for what's going to be like 40 seconds of stand-up, if that. I'm going to actually... I'm not going to crap on this if it's actually funny. If this is actually funny, I will admit it. If it's not, well, I'll admit that too. But I want to be clear. I think that people can be funny, even people that I don't like or that I don't agree with politically or that I even think are lying to themselves can be funny. There's been a time, a few, where I'll admit this. I will admit this. You can shame me in the comments section. There was a time when I watched Trainwreck, it's a movie, that I thought Amy Schumer was mildly funny. Now, her stand-up, never liked it. But that's me telling you that I can admit, even when it's shameful, that I can admit when I think something's funny, even when I don't like the person. So let's watch.
Okay, wish me luck. I'm about to go on, but I do look hot though, right?
No, you
This
don't.
is good. This
Okay.
is good. Okay.
Wait, that's my first thing. I'll admit, if you looked hot, I'd tell you. But Dylan, you don't. Keep watching.
I would feel like I was a part of something bigger than myself. That was a double entendre. Look at me doing stand up. The conservative men are just pissed that I can beat them in beer pong.
No, you can't.
And the conservative women are pissed that their kids are calling me mother in all of my Instagram accounts.
It went so well. Oh God, that was amazing. And I get to do it again at 10:30. I'm so happy. I want to do that 1,000 more times in my life. Okay. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope I get to make you laugh one day. Okay. I love you.
I wish you would make me laugh. But here's the thing is, so this was on Dylan Mulvaney's TikTok. This is not somebody who like took other clips and made it. No, this was on Dylan Mulvaney's TikTok, meaning that is what Dylan believes was the best part of his set. The like weird spank thing, the just crapping on conservative men making a false claim that he thinks he could beat me at beer pong. Not true. And then that your kids are calling me mother in the comments. Look, here's the thing is Dylan was like, and before this was like, oh man, like maybe I could, I could make people laugh. I like making people laugh. I want to tell people different jokes, but I can't tell jokes. Dylan says I can't tell jokes because otherwise people are going to take it out of context or something like that. No, I'm understanding the context here, at least of what you think was the best part of your set. The context is that you are living your life perpetually as an actor. Forever. And what that does is it breeds this idea that you're inauthentic. There's nothing I see about Dylan Mulvaney that's authentic. It seems like it is all purely an act. Now, by no means am I going to claim that even the best stand-up comedians are getting up and being 100% themselves all the time. What I mean by that is like even here on here is I have many people that are actually in my life outside and they're like, oh my gosh, like you're not always like you are on your show. No shit. I'm a real person. I do have feelings. Despite what the left accuses me of, I do have feelings. I can get sad sometimes. I'm very happy sometimes. I'm not always angry. Well, I'm always a little angry, but I'm not always as angry as I am on this show. Point being, a person, a comedian, yes, they might be putting on to a degree an act, but their entire life is not an act. When they tell stories about their life, it's not out of an act. It's authentic. It's real things that happen, at least good for good comedians, for good performers, for good commentators. It comes from a place of authenticity. Ever since the day that Dylan Mulvaney decided to pretend to be a woman, he swore into a life of inauthenticity. And so that's why Dylan Mulvaney will never be a funny comedian. Or if anybody actually does laugh at it and thinks it's funny, it's people that are lying to themselves as much as Dylan is lying to himself. But don't worry, Dylan didn't necessarily put too much of his time into being a stand-up comedian. In fact, Dylan is also now officially trying to become a pop star. And this is probably where I get much more disgusted, because it's not just bad comedy. Now it's bad music. And that means you've insulted me in two ways, comedically and in music. And then even in a tertiary of the fact that Dylan is also insulting the entirety of the female gender. Take a look and a listen at, quote, Days of Girlhood, Dylan Mulvaney's official music video. Don't worry, it's as bad as you think it is. Here we go.
Ring the alarms immediately. We have a code pink emergency. Calling women of all ages, girls like me. Gotta learn the basics. Class, look, quick, change, sip, change.
So one thing you can hear in this already, and you can watch it too and be as disgusted as I am. You can watch the very beginning. So we're at 37 seconds. So you watch the very beginning. You can see that it makes it look like Dylan is getting home from like a one-night stand. I'm going to mute it while I commentate on this. That makes it look like Dylan is getting home from like a one-night stand of some kind, like a stereotype of a real woman doing so. And then with that, Dylan goes inside. Days of Girlhood. Oh my God, Dylan Mulvaney. And then you listen to the voice. When you listen to the voice, you'll hear these kind of like little breaks in it where it changes from a note, not necessarily in a smooth fashion. That's because this is heavily auto-tuned. And for anybody who does not know music, when you listen to auto-tuned music, which you definitely have, Kanye does it a lot. There's other musicians. There's a song by Fun that came out back when I was like 12 that uses a major amount of auto-tune in it. If you use auto-tune for the entirety of your song, it means you're probably not a very good singer. And here's further the example of that. Keep listening and just listen for the auto-tune. Like I said, when you hear the breaks in the pitch, that's auto-tune.
Ring the alarms immediately. We have a code pink emergency. Calling women of all ages, girls like me. Gotta learn the basics. Class, look, quick, change, sip champagne. Playing catch up cause we missed the pregame. Pull up the group chat where you at, drop a pin. We're doing hot girl shit. Get in. Monday can't get out of bed. Tuesday morning pick up meds. Wednesday retail therapy. Cash or credit, I say yes. Thursday had a walk of shame. Didn't even know his name. Weekends are for kissing.
None of this stuff is either anything you'd want to brag about. I would, if this was, here's the reason why this is terrible. To start, if this was even a real woman singing this song, it would be kind of like, wow, this is something like you want to brag about. You want to brag that you had a one night or a walk of shame on a Thursday. Also, that's like a weeknight or weekday. So you're doing that. You're kissing random strangers that you don't even know their name. If this was a real woman, that would be a bit concerning of something to promote. However, the problem with this is that Dylan Mulvaney is not a real woman, which means that, and he claims that this is Days of Girlhood. He sees women This is why the trans thing, especially at Dylan's level, is so insulting, is because this is the way that he sees women. This is the way that he sees a woman should be. Or at least is. This is how he sees women. He sees women as a caricature, stereotyped, hyperbole. From that of like crappy 2010s rom-coms. And like when the woman is at her worst, this is the way that she acts. And that's how Dylan sees them. And he sings about it in this entire song.
Friends, Friday night all overspent. Saturday we flirt for drinks, playing wingmen to our twinks. Sunday the Twilight soundtrack. Use my breakdown in the back. These are the days. These are the days. These are the days of girlhood. These are the days. These are the days. These are the days of girlhood. Every day, every night, rise or shine, they're all mine. Thick or thin, I'll be alright. Got my dolls by my side. These are the days. These are the days. These are the days of girlhood. Hi, girls to the front of the line. Linked arms, no stress, cause we're dressed up to the nines. Mini skirts, it's below my hips. Dye my hair blonde, pillow talk on my lips. Boys on the dance floor, it's time to clear. The patriarchy's over, you can hold our beer. Back at home, we replay the breakup. Stay up all night, fall asleep in our makeup. Mom brought me into the world. Sister taught me how to girl. Best friend coached me how to text the boy toy that I'm dating next. Girls who help show me the way. They're why I'm in it, girl, today.
You know what this sounds like to me is if you basically had, if you had like a record producer who came out and said, okay, I need to find a man and I need him to write a song that incorporates all the cringiest aspects of like tween girl pop music, all the cringiest, biggest stereotypes of like the worst cringy tween girl pop. I want them to write me that song where like none of it actually applies to the female experience or what it's like to be a woman or what actually a woman is. No. I want it to be like the most shallow surface level understanding, and a man has to write it because it needs, but it can't just be any man. It's got to be like a man that's never actually talked to, embraced, or listened and truly heard a woman talk about what it's like to be them. That's who's going to write this song. And essentially, that's who did write this song.
These are the days. These are the days. These are the days of girlhood. These are the days. These are the days. These are the days of girlhood. Every day, every night, rise and shine, they're all mine. Thick or thin, I'll be alright. Got my dolls by my side. These are the days. These are the days. These are the days of girlhood.
Oh, don't worry, everybody. If you didn't think the song was serious yet, now apparently it sounds like, at least the shift in tone, now the man who pretends to be a woman is going to get serious with us about his days of girlhood.
Love ya.
Days of girlhood. And then there's a crap ton of credits. Just like credits take up like half of this thing. If you want to go watch it, I might put the link in the comments or something later if you really want to. No, but the thing about this is that especially during Women's History Month, whatever, I always crap on history months and everything. But I'll use it to my advantage when it's convenient, just like pretending to be a woman like I do. I think that more women should be upset about this. I don't think enough are. And I know that not enough are because 30% of them in my generation claim to be somewhere in the Legibitica community. You should, even if you are a lesbian, you should be outraged by this. Even if you're a bisexual, you should be outraged by this. Why? Because this kind of behavior, like I'll put it as some B-roll back here. This kind of behavior from Dylan, that this is apparently what a woman is, that you look like this, that this is the way you act, that you can just put on a wig and a dress and some makeup and all of a sudden you're a woman, and that's what, and you could say it, and that you can pretend to live the female experience and live in the world as a woman. Do you not see that as diminishing and really just like devaluing your experiences as a woman? Do you not? If a woman tried to act butch and was like, man, I know what it's like to be a man, which some of them do, but I'm calling out them too. But especially a man who pretends to be a woman, do you think, is that not insulting to you? Especially the feminists out there. Where are the feminists? The feminists who stand up and say that men are trash and that you'll never understand what it's like to be a woman, and because I won't. Like, I genuinely will never understand what it's like to be a woman, just as much as you'll never understand what it's like to be a man. We all have our struggles. We all have the issues that we deal with. In genders, even, you can put them to an extent in a bubble of like, yes, I will never know, and just like Dylan will never know what it's like to have a period. We won't. But is it not insulting to you? Is it not insulting to you that this, what's playing right over there, that this passes for being a woman? This ditzy idiot who brags about being a hoe and crying in the bathtub. Oh my God, that's what being a woman is all about, or stuff like this, like that, having a one-night stand. Is that not insulting to you? That would be so wildly insulting to me. Not to mention the fact that the song is just trash too, lyrically, beat-wise. It's derivative and attempts to be catchy in a way that it's not, that doesn't even ever catch any level. This is painful. This is painful, but it's so, while I could sit here and laugh and make fun, which I oftentimes do and very much want to, it's so sad like that nobody sees this nearly for the level of insult that it is. This is a slap in the face, especially with being called Days of Girlhood. This is a slap into the face of real women everywhere. A man pretends to be a woman, and society applauds. What a sad reflection of society. To entertain what very well could be delusion or a grift. You decide. However, in the way that I see it, Dylan Mulvaney, I don't even think, can claim mental illness or delusion. He very well may be, and if he is, I pray for him. But what I believe is that Dylan is a grifter. Dylan is grifting off of the ploy, the idea, and the thing of the day, the special, the societal special that is pretending to be a woman for clout, for money, for fame, and he's exploiting it. And the way that I can tell that is because of the caricature that he sets of being a woman and the vanity that he gains off of it. By no means does Dylan even seek to try to understand what being a woman is actually like. Which, would that make it better? Not really, but like, he probably wouldn't come out with this video, so I don't know. Dylan's looking for things to do, and it's just absolutely disgusting. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in the comments. I am appalled. We need more women like that one from the Planet Fitness going out and calling out this kind of degeneracy and saying that if you have a penis, you are a man. It's disgusting. Let me know in the comments, no matter where you guys are watching from. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, follow the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, everything like that. Make sure if you're watching on X to repost and follow on X. I'd really appreciate it. I'm always curious to see what people on X have to say. I've been trying to go with what's trending a little bit more. If you want to support the show in any way, please consider sending a Venmo or Cash App. That would be very much appreciated. That's what I have for today, guys. Let me know. You can always email me, speechlesskp@gmail.com. If you have anything you want me to react to, talk about, or otherwise, I'd appreciate it. I appreciate you guys watching and continuing to patronize the show and myself. God bless you. God bless America. And until next time, thank you for watching Speechless.